Good afternoon, everyone, if you are in our time zone, and good evening if you are elsewhere, and good morning if you are in a third part of the globe. My name is Dan Rabinowitz. I'm the head of the program. We will start in a few minutes. Bear with us because a few more people are accessing this Zoom. So we'll start in a few minutes.
Great.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Rabinowitz. I'm the head of the program, MA in Social and Policy Aspects of Climate Change, and I'd like to welcome all to this open day about the program. Some of you are joining us from this time zone, others are in different parts of the world, so good morning or evening or whatever it is. And thank you for joining us. We have about an hour, and I have with me a number of people who are joining us. One of them is Dr. Miri Lavina-Eman, who, like me, teaches some of the courses in this program. We also have Yochi Binky, who is the program administrator and is at hand if we need to ask her questions about administrative and other things. We have two students with us, one actually with us on Zoom, Michal Bubis, and another, Sam Tolbert, who is in the States right now, is not joining us, but has sent us a short video of a few minutes in which he sort of gives us his take about the program. So we have about an hour. I will start with a presentation of about 12 or 15 minutes. It's the main sections that I would want to cover with my colleagues is looking a little bit at what is special about this program in part one. And then we will walk you through some of the program structure, how it works, which courses, what instructors. And then after these first two sessions, I will give the floor to my colleagues, and I'll come back a little bit later with part three, which is a little bit of practical information on how to get your application process going. And of course, we do encourage you throughout this session, whoever is speaking, do come out with questions. There will, of course, be a Q&A. But you can also use the chat, and I think, again, welcome you, everyone, and let me start. So why this program, and why now, and why you? So the first thing we are very proud of is this is a first program for Israel. It's the only master's program in Israel which is completely dedicated to climate change. So we are pioneers. We are also out there in front of the pack in terms of the globe, because there are not many master's programs around the world that focus on the social aspects of climate change. There are a little bit more, a few more that deal with the science part or the engineering part. But when it comes to social sciences, we are amongst maybe 10 or 12 programs around the world that do that. And we're very happy to be really very inclusive and interdisciplinary. We have excellent professors that come from a variety of disciplines, both the soft sciences, social sciences, and the humanities, but also from the hard sciences. So this is something that really makes our take on climate very interesting and very diverse. Of course, we do focus on the social and economic and political aspects of climate change. And we feel that by doing that, we are addressing a real need within academia, both in Israel but also abroad. There's been a lot of research and a lot of teaching happening about climate change, but when it comes to the social sciences, there is a need. There is also a need for new research tools that would help us analyze these aspects of and the human aspects of the crisis. As we all know, the last few decades have seen an explosion in research into the hard science of climate change. Social science is lagging a little bit behind. And of course, we have started this program because we believe that new cohorts, new cadres of young professionals, climate professionals, are something that are needed, and that people who come to study with us will be able to enhance their own understanding and, of course, their own contribution to this within the workforce and within the labor market. And the labor market includes government, civil society, industrial, and financial institutions. All of them are looking for climate professionals. Let me move on from these sort of general arguments for doing it and for doing it now to how the program works, what its structure is, how are the courses working, who are the instructors, and so on. By the way, some of the slides that I will be showing you now are in a different, smaller slideshow that I will share with you later, or Yochi will put it up on the chat, because they include some specific information, useful, practical information. So you might want to refer to that later. So let's look a little bit into the structure. So first of all, we have two tracks. We have the studies track and the research track. Research track, you write, the students write a thesis, they do original research. The studies track, they do not prepare original research, but they have more studies. As you can see, they need to get to 36 credit hours as opposed to 29 credit hours in the research track. The studies track can be completed in 3 semesters. In fact, this year, which was the first year that we ran with the program, a number of our students have, in fact, completed the requirement for 36 credit hours in 2 semesters only, without needing to resort to the summer semester. Of course, those who do the research track only need 29 credit hours, but it takes a little bit longer because there needs to be time for the research. So they need to think about 2 academic years rather than 1. I would also add that the initial admission of everybody is to the studies track. And it's only after 1 semester with us that those who are interested apply for their research track. And according to their performance in the first semester, we decide whether or not they're offered a place and can join the research track. These are our instructors. I will not go through the biography of all of them. This is one of the slides that appears in the presentation that I will share with you and on the chat later, so you can have a look and also click the links and see a little bit more about our instructors. But you can see that what we have here is just the name of the instructor and which course or courses they teach. One of our instructors, Dr. Mir Levi-Ne'eman, is with us and will be talking shortly about what she teaches. And this is just an overview, if you like, of the teachers and the names of the courses. We're very happy that some of our instructors also have very unique and very rich experience in climate policy and activism, both in the Knesset, in the Israeli parliament, but also in other government departments, in local council, in international and local civil society organizations, some in the business community, some in academic leadership positions. So there is a practical element to what we teach, which comes through the experience of some of our instructors, including Dov Chenin, a former member of Knesset and currently the chair of Israel's Climate Forum. Another former member of Knesset is Professor Alon Tal, and a few other of us have had various experiences in NGOs and in academic leadership positions that we bring to the table. Let me very, very briefly describe how the schedule looks and and how people should be planning for this year. So first of all, we work with 3 semesters. We call them semesters. They should have been called trimesters. But basically, they are the fall, spring, and summer semesters of Tel Aviv University. And what you have here are the dates that are for the next academic year. Because of this very unusual year that we've just been to, the academic year next year begins a little bit late. It begins in early November. And the fall semester goes until February, beginning of February, and then the spring semester from March to July. And there is a short summer semester from June to September. And the program's main teaching days are Mondays and Thursday. We will come back to talk about that maybe in the third part. But on the whole, it's 3 semesters, and it's mainly Mondays and Thursday for the courses that are offered by the program. Courses and work plan in terms of the curricula. Again, this will be a very, very brief overview without spending too much time and too much of your attention span. But in a nutshell, it looks like this. So you can see here that we have a group of mandatory courses. The first 4 courses at the top are courses that everybody needs to take. And one of them is about climate science with Professor Colin Price. Another one is an introduction to the connection between climate change and social sciences. We have a practicum seminar led by Dov Chenin and research methods. All of them are mandatory courses that everybody takes. Then the second part, elective courses offered by the program, is a part where students can choose 2 out of the 3, but they need at least 2. This is why the number 6 is on the right, both at the study track and the research track, because everybody needs to take at least 2 of these courses, 3 credits each. That's why the minimum they need to take from this category is 6 credits. The next element is seminars. We are offering 2. Students need to take at least 1, but can take both. And you can see the numbers accumulating towards the right. And then, of course, there are elective courses that students take that are outside the program, whether it's in this Faculty of Social Sciences or elsewhere in the university. We provide a list of courses that can be used for that, and students can choose from them. And there are also the thesis writing workshop, which is relevant only for the research track. That's why you see the number 2 at the right. And there is also another way of earning two credits by joining and attending different colloquia and seminar. The important figures are at the bottom. So the total credits required for the studies track is 36 credits, and the research track only 29, because the rest, the 7 extra credits are covered by the thesis. So this is very, very briefly what the structure of the course looks like. You will be able to come back to that and maybe ask particular specific questions about this. But at the moment, let me proceed a little bit more. This is a suggested work plan by semester. So this already looks into how the year might look for a particular student. So the first part looks at semester number 1, and then the middle part looks at semester number 2, and the top looks at what students might take in the summer semester. And you can see that we saw it this year very clearly that taking 15 credit points in the first semester, mainly from the courses that we offer in the program, is something that can be done, and some students even manage to take in the first semester some extra courses from elsewhere in the university. Semester 2, more or less the same number, maybe a little bit less, especially if people have been admitted to the research track. And then summer semester, there's normally less of a selection elsewhere in the university. But as you can see, and as we have learned from experience this past academic year that we've just, we're now sort of edging towards the end, is that this is a perfectly possible schedule, and students do it, and some of them even enjoy it. So this is a suggested work plan by semester. And I'll finish my part here by mentioning 1 or 2 extras that we think that this program offers. One is something that I've already mentioned, and that is the practicum. The practicum seminar is based on placement of our students by the practicum leaders, Dr. Dov Chenin and Dr. Netta Galnut-Tene, in various organizations, some of them civil society organizations, some of them government organizations, sometimes business organizations, for an internship, in Hebrew, itmachut, which students do. We try to match the organization with the students' fields of interest, and we also try to make their involvement in the organization, which lasts 2 semesters, so all the time from November until July, we try to make this time as meaningful, as interesting, and as useful as possible, both for the organization and for the student. The student sort of interns in an organization. Of course, we select organizations that have a specific climate angle to their work. And we also want it to be useful for the organization. So the students actually write a report which they submit to us and are graded for, about the project that they were doing for the organization. And you can see here the organizations that were involved in this project with us this year. Many of them will be with us next year as well. Some, in fact, had more than 1 participating student as interns. As I say, when we have time for Q&A, we will welcome questions also about the practicum seminar. Finally, aside from the formal academic program that we offer, we want our students to be exposed to other workshops, some of them that give them diplomas or certificates of competence, and we do it free of charge. So this year we had an ESG workshop, which was very successful, environment, society, and governance. This is a methodology to use some indicators to analyze organizations and their performance on environment, society, and governance. This is something that is very useful because many organizations in the business world, but also in government, need these credentials and are always interested in professionals that can do it for them. We're thinking about maybe of doing a workshop on carbon accounting next year. This is something that we are always doing. So the ESG workshop, for example, was a whole day that we had in late May. Voluntary. Students didn't have to take it. They don't get academic credit for it, but many of them did, enjoyed it, and now also have another credential that comes along with their the degree. So there are some extras in our. The third element of what we wanted to cover in this open day is some practical information on how to get the application process going. We will wait with that for a little later in the session. Meanwhile, I'd like to invite my colleague, Miri Lavie-Ne'eman, who is with us, to share the screen and tell us a little bit about her role in the program, what she teaches, impressions of the first year that we have just finished. Miri, the floor is yours.
Okay, Dan, I don't have anything to share except for is that okay? Okay. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Miri, and I define my field as my field is political ecology, is something that looks at both politics and environment and the relationship between them. I studied political ecology at the geography department at UC Berkeley for my PhD, and I work my full-time job is at the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies. Some of the, sorry about that. Some of the students in last year program came from the Arava Institute, and also in the next year, there will be some interns from the Arava Institute. And so this is my affiliation with the program is in addition to the Arava Institute. In terms of my academic work, I work on issues of pastoralist communities in the era of climate change that reside in borderlands. This is one of my interests. Under this title, I look at issues of rewilding and conservation project, but also the prospect of living in borderlands under changing climate conditions. I also look at other issues that pastoralist community engage with, like energy transition, off-grid. I have a study on off-grid energy and gender in unrecognized Bedouin community. So this is some of the things that I do. I also look at the sociology of air and pollution and things like that. So this is in terms of my academic work. As a non-academic, I'm also consulting to the Ramat Negev Municipal Council about climate change and preparations for climate change, and organizing a complicated terrain of Jews and non-Jews residents towards climate change. And I'm on the board of several NGOs that work on issues of environment and climate change. And all of them are also Palestinian Jewish organizations. So this is me, and I also love teaching very much, even as much as I love research. And I also love theory, and the class that I'm teaching and anything that I said can be undermined later on by Michal, who took my class last year. The class that I'm teaching is not representative in any sense any of the other classes that you take, because in this program, every class, and Michal would testify to that, is very different in terms of pedagogy and in terms of topics and in terms of perspective and theory, right, Michal? At least nod. Okay, so my class is a class about theory, and the kind of theory that we are looking at, it is called Changing the Intellectual Climate. So it's about the way we really need to think or rethink everything that we have considered before in terms of social theory and ecological theories. This is a class that looks at the relationship and the mutual influence of both social theory and ecological theory or even conservation biologist theory about each other since 2003, which was the year in which a weird term came to our scientists, but also the public life, which is called the Anthropocene. Human scene is an era. So we take this term that emerged in the beginning of the 2000s as our point of departure, and we look at how the emergence of the realization that that climate change and its relationship with human beings, or the amount and the extent to which humans actually shape and become a force in this world, how it challenges the way we think about society, about social relations, about conservation, about different theories. So it's almost like a journey within social theory, recalibrated, rethought after the emergence of this term and in the light of climate change. And it's a seminar. And in this seminar, students choose their own topic that some of them would be part of their thesis later on, and some just are their subject of interest, and they explore a concept that resonate with some of these theories that we explore together during the semester. So we look at things like, as I said, we look at things like capitalism and how do we think about capitalism after climate change. We look at things like rewilding. We look at things like markets, all those things, how the understanding that climate change is here and how much the human species, are involved in shaping planet Earth, how these connection, these realization challenge all these ideas and concepts that for at least 200 years were very central in the West and in social theories and political theories and ecological theories at least in the West. Dan, do you want me to say anything else? I love the students. I had great fun with them and great fun reading their works. The nice thing about this class is that people come from very different, disciplines or field of interest, and they bring what they have into our class. And this is a class that is in which students are highly engaged in contributing to the content of this class. But I think what I want to think, at least, about this class, but Michal would have to approve that, is that students during the semester really gain a perspective, a way to think about climate change from several perspectives. And I think it gives them, it gives the student tools to think about climate change through the power of ideas and power of theories. And even if we look at case studies, these are case studies of big theory. It's a theory about big ideas and how we think about the world right now. Michal, do you want to say anything?
I just want I definitely.
I'm not putting you on the spot in any way.
No, it's fine. I concur with your description of the course, and I can say I felt I gained a really wide diversity and range of perspectives, and sort of challenging my previous thinking about climate change. I sort of, before your course, I looked at it as obviously as a systematic problem, but maybe not quite as multifaceted. And your course really gives an extremely nuanced perspective on all the theories surrounding climate change. And I want to say, Miri, like you said, your course is very different from the other courses because all the courses are very, very different from each other. We have courses that are very policy focused, and they are very different from our theory focused classes. And so the diversity within the lectures is felt as well as the diversity in students' backgrounds.
Liam?
Liam, can we have you mute yourself, please? Liam,
Liam, can you mute yourself?
I'm trying to see if I can mute everyone. Liam, can you hear us? We need you to mute yourself, please. Liam,
Danny, you can mute us all and
yes,
then
I
make
know.
me
I'm trying to
maybe
see where it is.
as participant, Danny. Open
Participants?
participant.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just mute her. You can mute just Liam.
I can't.
You can't?
It only gives me other options when I open participants.
No, you should see the list of participants and you have a mic and a camera.
Maybe Yofi can do it. I don't know who is the
Yes.
administrator of the
Okay,
meeting.
Liam is now muted. Okay, Liam is now muted.
Yay.
Sorry
Okay.
about that, everyone.
So what I
Give you a few minutes to breathe and maybe a diversion. We've been going on for almost half an hour, so let's look at it as a little intermission.
Yeah. So also what I want to maybe add to this class is I think it also open a door for you to participate in discussions that are now not just in academia, but in other popular, venues. This year, there has been a lot of discussion in the world of in the cinema, in the cinematic world, in the artist scene, in the art scene, in literature about the Anthropocene, in architecture. So I think this course also give you some tools to be able to respond to more public conversation and cultural production around what humanity in general experience under this transition into the world of climate change. So I think that's another maybe a value of this class, not just the theory. These are theories and words and terms that we actually meet now everywhere. If you open leading newspapers and cultural magazines and things like that, you'll see a lot of the ideas that we discuss in this class pop up also in this realm, and students are welcome, of course, to import them from the places where they meet them into the class.
Thank you, Miri. Maybe it's time to properly introduce Michal. Michal is one of the students that is now ending her first year and our first year in the program. We asked her, and we're very grateful to Michal for sharing with you, some of her insights as a student in the program. Michal, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dan. So I will say that I am taking the program in the research track, which means that next year I will be focusing on my thesis. And my previous academic background is actually in design. I have a BA from Shenkar College in Ramat Gan in textile design, specifically in knitwear. And so this was a big pivot for me, taking a very academic heavy master's program. But so part of what really helped me and like sort of calm down my anxieties is the fact that we really do have an amazing diversity of students in regards to their backgrounds. And also the fact that I felt at least very welcomed to integrate my previous knowledge, whether it was professional or academic, the discussions and into the materials we've studied. My thesis will actually be about examining relationships between changes in design and corporate sustainability reports. What to add? I did take Miri's class in the first semester. I took and I am currently taking Professor Dani's courses about climate change and the Middle East, studying more regional aspects, let's say, of climate change. I am also taking one course which is outside of the program, and it is part of the Porter School at Tel Aviv University. Oh, my internship was at the Heschel Center. It is actually still ongoing because we have some upcoming meetings that could not be scheduled within the school year. So my internship will be concluded in the next few weeks. And it was actually part of the meetings we are taking will be in coordination with the Israeli Climate Forum and one of my cohorts from the program. I don't know what else to add.
Stay with us for the Q&A,
We started the,
Stay with us for the Q&A.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure that some of the participants will want to ask you questions also. So thanks very much for your time so far. If you look at the chat, you will see that the PowerPoint presentation with the useful links is already there. Sorry, it's a Word file with the useful links.
Danny, I'm uploading now the PowerPoint.
You're not what?
I'm uploading now the PowerPoint.
You're uploading now, okay. And soon, in a few minutes, you will have this PowerPoint presentation of some of the slides that I already showed you, where there's useful information. This program, MA in Social and Policy Aspects of Climate Change, is given as part of this Faculty of Social Science. And within the Faculty of Social Science, we are not the only international program. There are other international programs, and we have with us Ayelet Fishman, who is a member of the administrative staff of the faculty. And we've asked her to say a few words about the general structure of the international programs within the social sciences. Ayelet, please.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks for having me. And sorry for being late. I have to attend 5 sessions in 3 hours, so I'm trying to clone myself to fit everybody's needs. So hello, everyone, and welcome. We do have 5 international MA programs in our faculty, which is the only faculty who has more than one program. And actually, the climate program is the newest baby in the family and the coolest baby in the family, if I may say. So when you become a part of our cohort, you not just live in your small bubble of the program, but you're a part of the bigger group of the 5 programs. We do have electives who are open to you as a part of the larger group who are open to all the other programs as well. We have guest professors who are coming every year to teach here from the leading universities in the world. Just last month, this month actually, Yochi, correct me if I'm wrong, your program had one of them, and we're having one next month, so these courses are open to you as well. Another important thing is that we also have collaborative agreements with other universities. We have currently 2 agreements with universities in Europe, and we're working on others. Why is it interesting? It's not relevant for you yet, but I'm just planting the seed now. These agreements enable you to study for 1 year with us and 1 year at the partner university, whichever order you choose, and get 2 MA degrees after 2 years, which is really nice. So you'll hear more about it in the first semester, just planting the seed. Let me just check for a minute, what did I forget? I assume that you spoke about the thesis option, Danny?
Yes, we have.
Okay, and scholarships and stuff are in the Yochi's links, so that's great. I'll just put my email in the chat as well, and you are welcome to contact me with any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayelet. I want to go back to my presentation to talk a little bit about the practical elements of how to get your application process going. We'll do it very, very briefly, and then we can open it for Q&A. One thing we want to tell you is start early. If you are considering seriously to join this program, you should start really early, as in tonight. The reason I'm saying that is that we already have about a third of the places. We are aiming to something between 25 and 30 students every year. And this year we have had early birds, quite a few of them. At this time and last year, we hardly had any people fully enrolled and everything. This year, a number of people are ahead of the pack. So if you're thinking about that, do whatever you do early. The admission criteria, you need a bachelor's degree. Doesn't matter from which discipline, from any university in Israel or abroad. Your average should be at least 80 out of 100. And if you're coming from life sciences, exact sciences, engineering, or medicine, it can be a little bit less than that. This is the threshold level. We are asking you to provide us with 2 recommendation letters, preferably from academics who know you. But if you've been away from your university for a number of years and you're no longer in connection, the recommendation letters can also come from professionals or from people who know your professional work. We ask you to write a statement of intent to us, why you want to join. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And there are, so these are basically the admissions criteria. We sometimes can take people who have just finished or are just finishing their BA or BSc degree programs and take them on conditional admission until they get the rest of their grades. Sometimes that happens later in the summer, especially this year, which started late. So this is relevant to people who are thinking of applying and are now in their 3rd year or final year of their undergraduate studies. The language requirements, so if you have an undergraduate degree from an Israeli university, you don't need to do a proficiency test. The program, of course, runs in English. If you have an undergraduate degree from abroad, but it comes from a university where the medium of instruction is in English, you are also exempt if you come from a university abroad where the medium instruction is not English. Then you need to take one of the 2 options that you see here on screen. This is again one of the slides that you will find in the presentation that Yochi has just uploaded to the chat. How you begin the process, there is a preliminary registration landing page for international students at the top here, and a different preliminary registration landing page for Israeli students. So whichever category you are in, you go there. In both landing pages, whether it's the international or the Israeli one, you will be asked to register. Now, register sounds like a commitment. It's not. The register that you're asked to do there is just to put your contact details so that the system knows you, recognizes you, and can start the conversation. It's not their registration, as in Harshama in Hebrew, but rather as in putting in your details and sort of get the ball rolling. If you start doing the online application, you will need to have with you an updated CV or resume, because you need to upload it at some stage. copy of your current valid passport or identity card if you are Israeli, a photo, and so on. If you need any more details, then both Yochi, who is online with us now, and myself are happy to converse with you on email, and sometimes even make a telephone call in the next few weeks or into the summer. We are expecting, Yochi and I, as part of our job descriptions, to be in touch personally with many of you. So do feel free. This is again one of the slides that is on the presentation in the chat. And there are some links to the programs page, both on the Faculty of Social Science website, but also on the Tel Aviv University's international website. This is where you can find out a little bit more information in addition to what we have given you so far. I think I'll stop sharing here and open it for questions. I'm sure you have some. We're here to answer some of them. Feel free.
I have a question.
Yes, please, Michal, go ahead.
You talked before about the practicum internships in this and that organizations. To what extent do we participate in those internships? I mean, is it like few hours a week, like volunteering, or is it a wider range of hours?
Well, it's a good question. It's really part of the dynamics between the student and the organization. We normally like to think about it as a commitment of about 6 to 8 hours a week, but there is no sort of formal way of following it. You can imagine, for example, that in this past year, with the war, it varied and it fluctuated. Michal, if you want to add in something, because this is something that you did and I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to share my experience. So our requirement for the practicum was 130 hours across 2 semesters, which came out to about 5 hours per week. Like Dan said, the exact let's say timing of the hours came down to the dynamics between every student and their organization. For me, I dedicated my Tuesdays to the work I was doing, which was research and writing of policy around academic campuses. Since I live in Haifa and my organization was based in Tel Aviv, I wasn't physically present there every week, but once every 2 or 3 weeks. And that was discussed and coordinated with the Heschel Center where I did my internship.
I want to add, Michal.
No, I see there's a question.
Yes, just one more point to Michal. The practicum is actually 4 credit hours, but in terms of classwork, it's really very lightweight because the students meet in class regularly only for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the first semester. And by the end or middle of the end of the first semester, they are already allocated to the various organizations, and they only meet in class once a month. So the 4 hours that are registered as the practicum time, I think it's on Thursday, are not really effective class hours. So you should take that also into account.
Michal, do you want to answer? There is a question in the chat. I think maybe you can give the best answer. How the program from the working person perspective is realistic to combine? So so
this is a good question.
Yeah.
So the program is it has high. I thought it had quite high requirements. I personally scaled back my working hours from 100% to 50%, but I know of other students who have remained at 100% of their regular work hours. I don't know how they do it. Maybe they sleep less than I do. I don't know. But it is definitely realistic to combine. It will depend on, for example, your scheduling, because if you have, for example, very rigid scheduling that requires you to be at work on Mondays and Thursdays, that would not be possible, because that's the days of the lessons, and being present in the lessons is quite valuable. So it is realistic to combine, but you have to, be calculated about it.
Thank you.
So some of you may have made the connection between Yochi in the white shirt, whose name tag on the Zoom is Climate Change MA, and Yochi the person. So Yochi is with us. She is the administrative director of the program. So many of the issues and the questions that have to do with registration and the formalities, you will end up doing with her. She's also here available to answer questions either now or later.
I think, Danny, I'm going to add one more thing, please.
Yeah.
Although it's an English speaking program, and you're part of the TAO International as well, the tuition fee is a regular tuition fee for Israelis, like any other master. The only difference is that you pay it in 1 year instead of 2 years, but it's a regular tuition fees.
Dan, did you see all the questions in the chat box?
I'm looking at
Let's see now.
yes, quite a few of them. Okay, yes. I saw Nair raising a hand. Go ahead.
Hey.
Sorry?
I'm just, hi, nice to meet you, Neria.
Neria, okay, just as NER.
My degree is in design from Bezalel. So when I was younger, when I studied it, I originally thought that I will never survive the university vibe, in terms of sitting and working. It's very different from Bezalel. So I wanted to know how rigid it is in terms of your perspective, how open you are to accept someone like me who is less, I consider myself a smart person, but I don't know how good I am in writing papers and stuff like that. It's something I need to work on. So you see this type of, person.
I think this is another
your...
excellent question for me, because I'm a graduate of Shenkar and I studied textile design.
Me too.
And so we'll have to talk about it later. But what I said to many of my friends from Shenkar when they asked me how am I doing in this program, I said, in the first 3 weeks of class, I have read more academic papers than I had in a year in Shenkar, and it was challenging. It was. I had to get used to it, but I think the professors I felt were open to my learning curve in terms of the academic stuff that was expected. I mean, it's not like they adjusted their expectations from me. It was just sort of, even people who did have like hardcore, with lots and lots of air quotes, academic degrees, but maybe were 15 years out of the university, they also had to sort of relearn how to be in academia. And honestly, the hardest part for me was not being able to knit in class, for example, which was very socially accepted in Shimkar. So yeah, it is challenging, but definitely possible.
I can say, Neria, that Michal took 2 of my classes, my climate change and social sciences class and my class on climate change in the Middle East. And I would never have guessed that she did a BA before that was, if you like, not as text intensive as what we do. And I think, yes. I'm looking at the chat. So Hadass asked, how hectic is the program from a working person perspective? I think Michal covered that. I will say that the main teaching days are Mondays and Thursdays, but Thursday is a bit lighter because we have 2 courses on Thursday, which are a little bit different in terms of attendance. One of them is Introduction to Climate Science with Professor Colin Price, which is an online course. It's based on 48 video clips that students see in their own time, so they don't have to be in class every Thursday for that. And the other is the practicum, which comes in immediately after that, around midday on Thursday. And as I said before, the practicum is intense for the first few weeks, but then becomes very sparse. And for most of the year, your Thursday, the slot for the practicum, you don't have to be on campus. So this is to Hadass's question. To Moran, is it possible to do the internship within the workplace? I suppose Moran means the workplace where she is employed. I don't see her any longer. She may have left us, but so I would say that we don't like that very much. If you are doing an internship, it should be in a place that is new for you, the learning curve and everything is much more interesting. Could you please describe the attendance requirement? Is there room for hybrid studies? So we have the Introduction to Climate, which is a online course. And we have about 6 or 8 of the meetings of the seminar on Middle East, on climate change in the Middle East, which is also based on video clips that students see and actually meets on Zoom. So we have at least between them, we have 6 credit points at the moment, which are offered by the program and actually happen online. So this is Moran's question. And Iris asks, you mentioned Mondays and Thursday, how many hours each week in class? I think that's what there's a spelling mistake here, so I'm not sure what Iris asked. If Iris is still with us. No, she isn't. Basically,
she's here. She's here.
Oh, she is here. So maybe I don't see all of your names. So, Iris, what exactly did you mean? How many hours on Mondays and Thursdays?
Yes.
So Monday is a long day. Monday you begin at I think 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And you go until mid or late afternoon. Thursday, as I say, is a little bit lighter. Most of the work is in the morning. It also depends between the 2 semesters.
Thank you.
Ayala is asking how many of the classes in person online. So 2 of the courses currently are online. And of course, what I'm saying is only from the courses that are offered by our program. What courses you take for the 12 credits that you can take from elsewhere in the university is of course difficult to answer about what they would be and how many of them will be online. So okay, can you elaborate on what type of work we can work in after we complete this degree? So this is Liat's question. We find that the labor market is turning more and more towards climate. We see that because of regulatory obligations, financial and banking institutions and industry now have to employ people in-house to monitor their carbon footprint, to see how they stand up to regulatory demands when it comes to climate. Many government organizations, local councils, municipalities, and sometimes regional municipalities are looking to employ climate professionals. We see that the NGO and non-government organization universe is becoming more and more climate conscious, and it's not only the sort of environmental or conservation organizations in civil society, but also many social equity and equality organizations are realizing that because there is such a strong connection between climate change and inequality, if you're into social and welfare work within the community, you need to pay attention to climate. So I think that between industry, finance, government, NGOs, there are many opportunities for people with climate credentials. Yes, I think I've covered what's in the chat. We are 1 minute past our time, but we're still here, so we're happy to engage and answer more questions if any of you want to. Okay, as I said before, both Yochi and myself are very happy to be in touch with you on email, and if you want also on the phone, so use that opportunity. Otherwise, I'd like to thank Dr. Miri Levin-Ne'eman for being with us, to thank Michal Bubis and Yochi for your contribution this afternoon. And thank you all for attending. We hope to see you this way or the other in the future.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, see ya.
תודה רבה, מיכל.